Good afternoon, everyone. Hi. This is New Horizons Senior Program by GIM Legal and Learning Centre. My workshop this afternoon is on abuse awareness. The programs aims to educate and empower seniors, caregivers, and community members about the different types of abuse, prevention strategies, and resources available to help the affected. What is abuse? There are different types of abuse. There is emotional abuse, which ranges from manipulation, intimidation, using sarcasm on seniors, threatening them, yelling at them, insulting them, provoking fear in them. Humiliating them is equally a form of emotional abuse. Ridiculing, teasing them, calling them names is a form of abuse. Social isolation, that's withholding compassion from them, withholding love from them, just keeping them somewhere, not talking to them. You have them with you, they are locked somewhere, or they are just there, nobody talks to them. Children go around their business, uh, grandchildren go around their business. It is abuse. Denial of privacy, just keeping them in a place where every family member can see them as they're going, as they're coming, as they are being changed, if they are the type that need to be changed. It's a form of emotional abuse too, not involving them in decisions that has to do with them, or when taking general family decision, and the elderly sees you and your family and your children, your husband, just or your wife, you're by yourself taking decision without involving them. It's like they are not there. Then threatening them too is a kind of emotional abuse. And this emotional abuse, somebody is being abused emotionally. There are indicators, signs that you can see in the life of the one being abused. You can see visible distress in them. They have a low self-esteem. They get agitated easily. They having difficulty sleeping. They are feeling hopeless. They are feeling helpless too. They feel, oh, nobody is going to help them. They become fearful when interacting with others. They appear shamed. They are shamed. That is, now they feel they are nothing. As there can be exclusion from social activity, loss of self-determination, because now they are very low. Fearful interaction with other people, then they are afraid to do something by themselves too. These are some of the indicators. They are sometimes they be excluding from family gathering. They don't want to go to any family gathering because they feel, oh, they're going to pack me into one corner. Nobody is going to talk to me. And when they are not permitted to have friends or visit friends too, or you see that they they don't want to go to like church or where they normally like to go. You can those shows that somebody is emotionally abused. There are other abuse too. like verbal abuse, which ranges from intimidation or threatening the elderly, humiliation, persistent criticism, name calling, this old woman, old man, harassing communication, habitual blaming them. I have warned you before, you still did it. You still doing what I asked you not to do. Those are forms of um, verbal abuse. Things you don't want somebody to tell you. You are telling it to the elders. Is a verbal abuse. The indicators are like you see changes in their personality or behavior. They are you see changes in their personality and behavior. You see that they have low esteem now. You see visible distress in them, like agitation, tearfulness, stress. In stress, they are becoming intolerant. Any small thing, they become fearful. Those are indicators that somebody is verbally abused. If you see some of the indicators are similar, when you start noticing them, those indicators, just know that uh, the elder is going through one form of abuse or the other. Then there's physical abuse, which ranges from physical violence, like hitting them, slapping them, pushing them, shaking them, kicking them, rough handling them, is a physical abuse. Even inappropriate use of drug or restraint, like you tie them to somewhere, don't go out, you physically tie them to somewhere, or you holding them too hard, or you give them a medication to sedate them so that they just be in one place until you go and come back from where you're going, or just do that so that they don't disturb you, is a kind of physical abuse. Involuntary isolation too, or confinement, keep them in one place, don't leave there, stay there, is a form of physical abuse. Punishments which result in physical harm is a form of physical abuse. And this physical abuse equally has indicators. You see unexplained injuries in their bodies, you see bruises, you see this have fractures sometimes because maybe their bones are now fragile. When you hit them too much, push them too much, they have fractures. You see sign of being restrained, like you see like somebody that has been tied to something. You see the sign in their body. Then you see them deteriorating in physical condition without a medical condition. You know that they are being physically uh, abused. Then there's still another form of abuse, sexual abuse. The elderly can be abused sexually too. Yes. When this ranges from a sexual act without consent, just go to them and want to have sex with them without their consent, is sexual abuse. Or you make them do it out of fear, is sexual abuse. Or you display pornographic materials before them, things they don't want to see, is sexual abuse. Comments of sexual nature, you're talking rough in their presence, things that they don't want to hear, you are discussing it in their presence, is sexual abuse. And like forcing residents, forcing the elderly to undress is sexual abuse too, so that you can see their organs or whatever is sexual abuse, making them to expose themselves when they don't want to is sexual abuse. And the indicators of that, you see the elders, they show discomfort or stress during personal care. Like when you are not giving them care or when their caregiver comes, they start becoming rigid. They don't want to get care. They be showing discomfort. They be stressful. You know that something is going on. When you find bruises around their breast, their genital area, you need to investigate. You need to ask questions. You need to check. Then there's a verbal or non-verbal expression of refusal. Resident pulls away. They don't want you to touch them when you are there to look after them, or you see them looking agitated. You see them tensed, withdrawn from care. You need to ask questions, especially when they normally want to get care before they normally want to be looked after. When you start seeing those signs, you know that something is going on, that you need to ask questions, you need to investigate. When they start demonstrating physical aversions to touch, know that something is going on, that you need to uh, ask questions and you need to check. There are still other types of abuse, which other types of abuse like financial abuse, which ranges from measures of personal checks, credit cards, or power of attorney being abused when their money, their cash is being stolen. Income checks are not there anymore. The checks are coming into the account and it's going away, and they are not able to, the caregivers are not able to account for what is going on. And again, you see maybe some of their goods and jewelries, especially expensive jewelries, golds, diamonds, they are disappearing from the house or from the patients or from the elders. You know that they are being financially abused. When you start seeing forged signature or identity theft, then you need to ask questions. You see the checks where they are now using uh, like a whiteout or something. You just notice some things that are not really right. You need to investigate. You need to check more. When you see that there's inadequate distribution of of their of their income, things they're able to do before with their income, they are not able to do it again. They are not able to pay their bills. Then you need to sit down and check where is the fund going to. And sometimes they might actually be forced to write checks. When you see checks that no, this is what is not going to their bills, it's not for something they normally do, then what is the check for? You need to investigate. Indication of all these things are now, they may not have enough funds again to do what they're supposed to do. They start looking for who they will borrow from. They 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 start begging for money to pay their bills while they are supposed to be having incomes. Then where is the income going? You see you see sudden withdrawals from their accounts. Where is this particular money going to? It's not going to bill, it's not going to food. Then where is it? You need to investigate. Those are forms of physical, forms of financial abuse, and their indication. Then there's another abuse, which is called neglect. When they are neglected, that is like withholding or inadequate provision of necessities for them, like food, housing, medicine, physical aids, like their hearing aids, if they use one, dentures, uh, not dentures, if they need walker, and they are not being provided. Then there's inadequate supervision or safety precautions to you just leave them to themselves, is neglect. Over medication or under medication, when you let them take too much of their medication, or they don't even take at all, they just leave everything, is a form of neglect. Then poor hygiene, personal care or clothing is neglect too. Denying access to necessity of life is neglect too. Then sensory deprivation, that is like no glasses. If I don't have my glasses, I can't read. And if the elderly need their glasses and they don't have it, how are they going to see? They will not see. And another one, neglect, is unjustified use of restraint or abandonment. Restraint, that's something to hold someone to a place. It could be physical, it could be chemical. Chemical ranging from medication is there's all form of abuse. And the possible indication of that neglect, you start seeing physical sign of weight loss, malnutrition, because now they are not getting the nutrients they are supposed to get. They are not eating properly. You see them being dehydrated. You see them having mouth sores. You see their skin drying out. When you pull on their skin, you see that it's dry. You see that it's scaly. They are neglected. You see poor personal, if they when they come out, or when you see them, they have poor personal appearance, like soiled clothing. You know that they are being neglected, or their clothes are torn. It's part of neglect too. You see them having health concern, like they are drowsy. You see that when they are not well treated, when they fall sick, when they have physical problem. You see the impaired skin, scaly skin, skin dry, skin not well moisturized. It's all part of indicators for indicators for uh, uh, indicators for neglect. You know that they are being neglected. And the lack of mobility or muscle contraction due to inadequate care. You see that their muscle tone is very bad. You see they are not able to walk well. They are not able, they are weak now. Their muscles are weak because they are not getting the nutrients they are supposed to get. You you see signs of isolation in them. That wherever they go to, they go to corner and sit. Don't want to mix with people. Is an indicator too that they are being neglected because they see others too, how they are well dressed. They are not careful. They are just neglected like that. So those are the forms of abuse. There is actually a research done on abuse of seniors by Shani Corey, and Daniel Sutton, Canadian Centre for Justice and Community Safety Statistics. Release date July 7th, 2022. It says, according to the General Society survey on Canadian safety victimization, there were about 128,000 seniors victims of violence in Canada in 2019. Rates of violent victimization were 5 times lower among senior age 65 and older compared to younger Canadians, which is 20 versus 100 incident per 1,000 population. Overall, three-quarter, 76% of seniors who reported experienced violent victimization in 2019 were physically assaulted. That's those that were physically assaulted alone, that were physically assaulted were 76%. He said a small population of seniors compared to younger Canadians reported experience abuse. That is those that reported it, meaning there are a lot of them that didn't report of their abuse. He said reported experiencing abuse by intimate partner in the 5 years preceding survey. 7.1% of seniors reported experiencing emotional or financial abuse, and 1.5% reported experiencing physical or sexual abuse by an intimate partner. He said most seniors were somewhat or very satisfied with their personal safety from crime. 82% perceived their neighborhood as having a lower amount of crime than other areas in Canada, and reported a somewhat or very strong sense of community belonging. That is where they live. And then there's another, there are other ones too. It said more than half, 60% of all police reported violence against seniors involved the use of physical force, and an additional 19% involved the presence of weapon. About one-third, 35% of seniors suffered a physical injury as a result of the violence they experienced. In 2020, the rate of police reported violence against seniors was highest in the Territories and New Brunswick between 2015 and 2020. Police reported senior victimization increased in every province and territory. The rate Another one, the rate of police reported violence was higher for senior men than senior women in every province and territory in 2020 and in nearly all census metropolitan areas. There's another one too. In 2020, the overall rate of police reported senior victimization in the province was higher in rural compared to the urban area, which is 247 versus 214 per 100,000 population. He said between 2000 and 2020, 944 seniors were victims of homicide in Canada, which accounted for 7% of all homicide victims during this time. The large majority, 88% of these homicides, were solved by police. See, they are doing their job. The homicide rate among seniors increased between 210 and 220, between 2010 and 2020. That is plus 9%, driven by the homicide of senior men, another plus 28%. There's another one too. Among senior men who were homicide victims, 2/3, 67, were killed by a non-family member, most commonly a friend, 30%, followed by stranger, 20%, or an acquaintance, 17%. He said, amongst women who were homicide victims, 2/3, 67, were killed by an intimate partner, 32% or family members, 35%, while in 8, 3% senior men were killed by a stranger. While 1 in 8 senior men were killed by strangers. Maybe sometimes they just wander away, or somebody just find them, take their things from them. Probably maybe they believe the senior know them and they just kill them. Knowing all this, knowing about the form of abuse that elders can go through and the indicators, now will be empowered. That's the reason for us to be empowered. We really need to know the types of abuse and the indicators on how to know things to look out for when we see the seniors, to know whether they are being abused or not. And that is why we have this program. The first set was talking about the types of abuse and how to recognize them. The next part of this workshop is going to be how we prevent this abuse, knowing them now. We can't just know them, recognize them, and leave it at that. We have to know how to prevent this abuse in senior. Before we go to the next workshop, which is not going to be this time, we'll talk about a guiding principle in responding to abuse. When we see this in the elderly, what do we now do? What do we do about it? The first thing is we respectfully talk to the elder. Like when we see all these things in their body, we need to sit with them, kind of build relationship with them, and respectfully ask them, oh, well, if it's physical, you ask them, you respectfully talk to the elder about the bruises and whatever you are seeing in them, whatever you are noticing in them. And you have to respect their values and personal decisions too, because there are some going through the abuse, they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to expose it. So you have to let them know that even when you know that everything is going to be confidential, and you seek their consent to maybe report it, and let them know that it's going to be confidential, that you're going to maintain privacy. No one will know about it apart from those that are going to help them. So that is the one of the ways. And another thing is, if you see that the abuse is very, like the physical abuse is very much, you can really see the bruises and everything in them, you empower them. That is you give them the numbers to call if they are being abused again. Like there's 1-800 number, 1-800-490-8505. Just tell them to call that number, and create action plan with them on what to do if such a thing happen again. Tell them this is what you're going to do when such a thing happen again. This is have an action plan. Tell them, and tell them, let them know that there are support groups and counseling services that they can equally talk to, because some people, they don't know what they are supposed to do about it. They are afraid to speak up, and sometimes you might actually need to uh, take them to where they can get help, immediate help. You get help for them. You get help for them. That is, those that really that need help immediately, you give them help. If they are hungry, you can give them food. If they are they are wearing torn clothes and all that, you can provide them something. If they need medical help, you can take them to the hospital. Or if it's something you can look after it, and give them all the information on how to get help. And let them know there is a 1-800 number, the supporting number, support that where they can report whatsoever is going on, and they are not going to expose them, and the people doing the abusing them will not know. Thank you very much. This is where we are going to stop today. Then we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening.